Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. So like I said last time, we're going to look at the inject function for our unit testing for jest and Vue.js. So I thought maybe what would be a good idea is to actually kind of run you through about the work that I've done already, so you guys have a bit more of an idea what I'm trying to do or going for, because I kind of think I just dumped the unit testing stuff on top of something else that I haven't really explained well. So we're going to kind of try and start with that. So I think the first place to start would be this app.ts. Kind of this replaces the app.js file in Laravel. So at the start we kind of got a bootstrap import, which is just the Axios stuff, but I'm probably going to try and get this stuff closer to what I'm doing and then just remove the bootstrap file in the future. So this is just a Vue import. So we're using Vuerx for the data streams. We're using an Axios plugin. This is kind of something I wrote myself, and all this kind of tries to do is just add Axios to the Vue instance. So with this $HTTP, so it's easier to reference. And the idea being is like if I take this bootstrap stuff and then put it in this function over here, we get all the stuff for the token in what we're trying to do. So then it's kind of Vue router and then just Vuex for the session store, and then we kind of got a basic app which we're going to get back to in a little bit. And then we just kind of use the plugins and we instantiate Vue. I think it's pretty much boilerplate. So maybe let's look at this app Vue file then next. So we got this Vue block provider, which is something we're going to kind of get back to in a bit, which wraps our router view. And then in our TypeScript file, in the TypeScript part, is we kind of got the standard kind of TypeScript Vue component. And then the interesting thing over here is this kind of created. So what we're doing is we're creating our blocks or business logic down here. So we can add multiple ones. So for instance, if we had other blocks, we could add them in there. And what we're doing is then we're passing this blocks to this Vue block provider. And this Vue block provider then provides to the child elements of this Vue block provider. And then on the render function, which we kind of overrode, we just basically return the slot defaults, which allows us to wrap this router view in the Vue block provider. So the idea being is these blocks that we defined here is going to become injectable into the child elements of this Vue block provider. So one of the things I thought about that I'd maybe try to do in the future is have this Vue block provider instantiated in here, something like this, so that you can wrap the view, maybe do like anyway, you guys get it, so that it just kind of looks a bit nicer in that way. So we also kind of have these root files which we define. So we're going to look at this root view where it's kind of going, and we've got this root file defined here which says that we use the history mode, and we don't use any base, and then the roots are kind of the roots that you type to see. So we got this path home, and then we render out the home component in this home path. The idea is this home is kind of where Laravel would put the home page anyway. So and then if we look at this kind of home page component, is that this is kind of a page, and then we've got this inject kind of decorator / annotation here that injects our user block that we defined in our app.vue, this user block that injects it over here, which allows us to kind of use it over here. So over here we're subscribing to a stream, and this fetch user one, this basically asks the API for the details of the user, then puts the data on the stream, and this stream then returns it via the subscribe method back to this component over here. So the idea being is let's say for instance if we want to tie up our basic user details into our stores, that we for instance can kind of try to do something over here where we create like a variable for this, and we can subscribe to the same stream. We can subscribe to this user stream that we've got over, sorry guys, wrong place. We're going to get back to that file in a bit. So we can subscribe to this kind of same stream over here, which I just wrap with this get get the user to make it, I don't know, a little bit neater. So the idea is like if you want to return something else, it's kind of like a copy paste in a sense in terms of the logic from some of the tutorials and videos I've seen on Flutter. So the idea is, yeah, you could tie into this stream somewhere else and then kind of have that stream put the stuff out in the store, or maybe have like a header component or something else that has to render out some details about the user. Okay, so maybe get back to this view block. So this is kind of just a parent class that says that, okay, this user block is part of or extends this view block, and this view block, you see, takes kind of an instance of view. The reason for that, if we kind of go back to this user block, you can see that I can use this view and then this HTTP that I defined in this plugin. I can use that inside of my block. So for instance, if I maybe want to do something where I say this dot view, and I want to say, let's say I want to use the store, think it says, and then basically I can say, okay, well, I want to do a dispatch on the store that says that save the user details to the store. So whatever plugins I've kind of got in view loaded, I can use here. So the idea part of it is to kind of make it easier, because kind of the paradigm in view is to kind of write these plugins and then attach them to the view instance, and I kind of want to keep some of that functionality. So for instance, if I use like the view RX or Vuex or the router, or if I want to kind of use maybe my own plugin like I did with this HTTP Axios plugin, is that I can still use them within my blocks. Okay, and then I also kind of got these shims. So this kind of just helps something like PHP Storm or WebStorm, or kind of anything that is intelligent enough to understand Vue to be able to, and well, not just Vue, sorry, TypeScript as well, to kind of provide autocomplete. So then on the pages, you guys seen this, and this is kind of the test file we had from a while back. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try to look at that inject function to get this to work with the current inject that we've got. And over here is kind of the block files that you've seen. And I'm also a big fan of Tailwind, so we've kind of got Tailwind over here. And then this custom is kind of for custom stuff, so if you want to do like component CSS for things like buttons and stuff, you can put them in the custom. Maybe we should have called that something a bit different. So the language files is kind of default Laravel language files. So maybe one of the things in the future is to put something there more for Vue.js. And kind of the reason that where we want to get with all this is you guys see that I've got this Laravel preset in here, and you guys will also see, if you look at this kind of US things, you'll see a lot of the same files that you see over here. So what we try to do here is that we're trying to write out this, get this working, and then copying the contents of these files back into this Laravel preset, so that if I start up another project, I've got all the work that I've been busy with over here ready. So if you want to do like a new project or something I want to start up, or maybe just an old one that I just recently started or something, then I can run these presets, and then I kind of get the same environment that I'd like, or that I'm kind of busy building here. So I think that's kind of enough with the explanation. So okay, well, kind of let's get started with the inject. So first thing that we need to do is we kind of need to figure out how to do the inject, right? So let's say view testing kind of, and then look at the inject. So let's say view how to unit test the view component that has index. That's a good place to start. It says to provide an index. Okay, so just set the provide properties use inject mount. Okay. So far, not quite sure what. So you said provide mount. Okay, so kind of that this provide thing by the looks of it. So what we need to do is just maybe put down a provide over here, and then that provide is probably going to be part of that. And then kind of you got this user block, and then we're going to say as a new user block, and then I have no idea how to do this. Well, let's see for now. this technically not nullable. So let's see. Don't want to do that. So let's see if I do the view. Okay, sorry, import view from view. Let's see what that gives me. Let's see what's it's in the app.ts, how that's defined. So that's defined with a new. So just kind of copy paste that over. See what we can do here. We don't want the router for this. We don't want the render for this. We don't want the EL for this. So literally what we're doing is we just want a new view instance. Okay, so if I try to run this, let's see what happens. So view 1 default non-constructor. Okay. So let's see what happens if we pass in an empty one default is not empty. Let's see what this says. Let's try to go back here for a bit. Okay, we don't need those. I'm just curious to see what's okay. Try and put that back for now. Let's see. View 1 is not a default constructor. That's not kind of the error that we're looking for. Let's see, so I suppose see what these guys try to do in this. Not of this, yeah, not use this one since you're using this module with the import statement. Okay, maybe there's something in the and yeah, that's useful. Not quite. Let's see what the import is for this. Make sure we got the same import. Let's see. I'm gonna get this. Okay. Okay, so by the looks of it is that we need to do a view.use and then use the Axios plugin, find, see what this does. Okay, so by the looks of it we've been able to inject this this user block, and also provided the Axios plugin for it to actually work. So one of the things we'll probably end up finding is that this user block, when we try to get that, sorry, wrong file again. Okay, let's see where we're at. User block. Okay, so looks like we're able to provide this view instance. We're able to provide the view instance with this HTTP Axios plugin that we've got, which makes it able to call this method. Now obviously trying to call this method is probably going to fail, I think. It might be to do with the fact that down here, when we did the, I think it's in the package file, if we did this, I wonder what would happen. So let's see. Okay, still works. I'm curious to see, let's see, where's the some component. It's actually fit one that we're interested. Let's see what happens if we do an error. Let's try to see if we can find the error. Because obviously with this HTTP at the moment, it's probably not going to work. Let's see if we do this. What would happen? Okay, so we don't see this anymore. But the idea is that if we can provide it after the fact with the user, let's see if we can do like I think data and then do like a user and say that it's got a name and the name is test. Sorry for the bad spelling. Let's see what happens if I do try this. Maybe some. Okay, so the data option should be a function. Okay, so data option should be a function that we return. Then there should be a function, so we're returning an object called user, and then user has a name. So let's see what happens when we do this. I'm just kind of curious to see if we remove that, what happens. Okay, so now it's full. So let's see what else we kind of have here. Remove subscription. Okay, we don't want to remove a subscription. So, subscribe next void. Let's see what we get when we try to do this. Okay, so kind of got that. Let's look at the user block. Where's user block? So maybe try to do this. So user dot error, and then so there being if we can't get the users, then we're sending an error to the stream instead of the user, and then on the homepage component is that we can get a copy of the error through the stream using this function over there. So what do we get? You're logged in. Let's see that. Let's make another variable called here called error. And we say that we're going to try and make this a string, and we're going to say, let's say this dot error equals error dot. Okay, and then if we have a user, but if we have an error, then print the error. Okay, so expect to receive contains, so we still kind of got this dashboard thing, but it doesn't look like we actually get a copy of the error over here. So maybe one of the things that we can look at is try to see if we can actually get the kind of has something about the data over here. So maybe we can try to do a console.info. I just want to see if we can actually get the contents of the HTML certificate, so we can kind of try and find out what's going on in this component. Let's see, so now let's see if the console.log prints it out. Okay. Let's see if we can find something that says this. Again. See if we can see the difference. You are logged in, and the other one is just dashboard. So by the looks of it, we're probably not getting our error message back over here. So let's see, we kind of defined the error, we called it a string. From what we understand, is that we should be getting it back through this. Anyway, so for now I think I'm going to try and leave it here and try to kind of figure this on myself, otherwise we're going to take a bit longer. So about that, but I think we kind of did achieve our objective by being able to inject this user block into this homepage component, and then also kind of try and or tie in the Axios plugin by calling this Axios.view, so that this user block can actually use this API. But at the moment, this API is kind of failing because we're running this in a test environment and not a real environment. And what we expected to see back is we expected to see back some sort of error instead of this just empty user, and that our component should have been able to render that error, and then our test should have been able to tell us that an error did occur. But we struggled a bit with that, or specifically I struggled with that. So I'm going to try and figure this out a bit later on my own, and then in the next video I'm going to try to catch you guys up with the solution that I found for it. Until that time, bye bye.